pre-algebra for Wednesday, and we are going to pick up where we left off yesterday with problem set 82. Now, in your homework you had question 15, but I want to go over that because I knew that it was going to cause a little trouble for a few of you. So I've drawn it on the board, and you can see here we have a semicircle and a semicircle and a straight line. So we have to find the perimeter of this semi, because we're looking for a perimeter in this problem. We have to go from this side of the line to this side. What is the length of that? Well, how do you find the perimeter of one side of a semicircle? Remember, that's called an arc. So really the question is, how do you find the length of an arc? The length of an arc is simply pi times diameter divided by 2. Now we have that here, but we also have it here. And since we're looking for perimeter, remember that means we're adding all of the sides. So we're going to add that again. Pi times diameter divided by 2. That's going to give us the length of this arc, the length of this arc. Now we still have 2 more lines in this problem that we've not added in yet. That is this line right here. So we're just going to call it side and side. Now, as I've told you all year, you write the formula, then you substitute the formula, and then solve it. So perimeter equals 3.14 times the diameter. The diameter of this line is 20. Divide by 2. Now this is going to happens to be the exact same thing. It may or not be in all of our problems, but in this particular problem, our length is 20 again. We're going to divide by 2. Now, you say, Mrs. Turner, what about the sides? What are those? That is the straight line, because what this formula gives us is only the length of the line from this point to this point that curves. It does not give us the line across the top. So we have to add in the 20 from each of these 2 lines. Now we simply solve our problem. So we're going to say 3.14 times 20, and we know that 3.4 times 20, then we're going to divide it by 2, and we're going to add our 20 and our 20. And when you solve all of this out, when you do the math of all of it, our perimeter is 102.8 feet. Now, it's feet, not feet square, because we're only looking for perimeter, okay? Let's look at number 16 together. It says write the number 12,311 over 5, okay? It wants you to take this fraction and make it into a mixed number. This is just a review problem. Excuse me. How do you do that? You simply divide. We're going to use short division, meaning I'm going to do most of it in my head. 5 will not go into 1, but 5 goes into 12. How many times? 2 times. With what left over? With a 2. So let's write that little 2 right there. 5 goes into 23 4 times. 4 times 5 is 20, leaving us 3 left over. So now we have 5 into 31. 5 goes into 31 6 times with 1 left over. 5 goes into 11 2 times with 1 left over, making it 2,462 and 1/5. Number 17 says find the least common multiple. Well, what if you have the number 12? 20, and our last number is 30. If I want to find the least common multiple, the first thing I have to do is find its prime factorization. Okay, to find the prime factorization, we always start with the smallest prime number that will go into it. So 2 goes into 12, leaving us 6. We're using the division of prime. Divide this by 2 because it is still even. That gives us 3. Now we'll go to 20. It's an even number, so I know to divide it by the prime of 2. Leaves us 10. 10 is even, so again, I'm going to divide by 2, giving us 5, and 5 is prime. Now we look at 30. Again, we start with an even number. In this case, so we're going to divide by 2. 2 goes into 30, giving us 15. 15 is not even, so 2 is not going to work, so I have to think about my next prime number, which is 3. 3 goes into 15, leaving us 5. Now, to find the least common multiple, remember, you must list every different type of factor in our answer. We have a contest to see how many we put in, and then we multiply them. So for the 2's, there are 2, and there are 1. So a 2 is the most number we can have. So we put 2 times 2. Then we say 3. Well, there's 1, 0, and 1. So the most that any one of these factors has is 1. And then we say, okay, there's the factor of 5. There's 1 and 1. So the most it has is 5. Now 5 times 3 is 15. 15 times 2 is 30. And 30 times 2 is 60. So our least common multiple is 60. Okay, let's look at our next problem. We have the problem 2 6/7 over 1 1/4 equals 1/2 over y. Now, the first thing we have to do in this problem is to make an equation. We're going to do that by simply doing what? Cross multiplying. So we're going to say 2 6/7 times y equals 1 1/4 times 1/2. The next thing I'm going to do is make all of these fractions improper so that I can use them. So 2 times 7 is 14, and 14 times 6 is 20. So we have 20 over 7y equals 1 times 4 is 4, plus 1 is 5. So we have 5 over 4 times 1/2. Now I need to get rid of this 20 over 7. Okay, remember in algebra we have 2 basic rules that we have to always live by. Whatever we do on the left, we must do on the right. Do the opposite of what it says. So it says to multiply by 20 over 7, so we know that we need to divide. When you divide with a fraction, what are you really doing? Multiplying by the reciprocal. So write down your reciprocal, and again, we have to do it on both sides. These are all going to cancel. Our 2 7's and our 2 20's will cancel, leaving us only y. And on this side, what can I cancel? Well, I can cancel the 5 and the 20. Okay, is there anything I can cancel? No, because I must use a numerator and a denominator. So 1 times 7 is 7. And then we have 4 times 2 is 8. 8 times 4 is 32. So the answer to our problem right now is 7 over 32. We'll look at this for just a second here. Just going to see and make sure I did all this right. So we have 4, 5 over 4. Okay. And so now we have 7 over 32. Is there something we can do to change that? Okay. Can we reduce that any?